Hello friends, today we will going to discuss about the topic related to managerial skills and business leadership skill. Whenever we are telling about the entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship management, this managerial skill is very essential, and being a leader in the business, you must have certain skills. The business leadership skill is also very essential. These two skills play an important role how you are going to take your enterprise to which level, maybe in a local domestic level, or maybe national, or maybe international level. Your skill play an important role. Place your enterprise in an elite group or in a local group will be decided here. Now we will see in detail about what are all those managerial skills and the business leadership skill. Now we will see what is managerial skill. See, the managerial skills are achieve their objectives. Both it may be a short-term objective or a long-term objective of an entrepreneur. They need to continuously build their management and the capacity to meet the challenges of their enterprise in a dynamic operating system or a changing operating system or a changing business environment. See, being a manager, you must have that skill that how you will going to achieve this short and long-term objective by building up all the capacities or all the resources available with your enterprise. So in the changing business environment, that is what is the managerial skill. For example, we can easily understand what is managerial skill means. We can see our mother in a house, how she used to manage the house. Maybe if you are having a sufficient money also, how she can manage with the 100 rupees also she can manage very efficiently, and with the 1,000 rupees also that she can manage very efficiently. If any guest, one guest comes also, she will manage. If her 10 people comes also, she will manage. That is what the changing dynamic situations are, the business environment in which the entrepreneur has to achieve their goal, maybe a short term or a long term, with the available resources. How they will manage all these things is nothing but a managerial skill. Now we will see what is management. In a short term, we used to say that the management is nothing but getting the things done from others. In a short way, we used to define management as a getting the things done from others. See, where we can say that in a broader way, the management is nothing but a process of planning, organizing, leading, controlling the personnel and also the resources of an organization achieve the goal in a given environment. That is what is management. They're both human resource and also the resource of an organization, how you are making use of it and how you are organizing, planning, leading, and controlling. So this how is going to help you in achieving the goal in a given business environment is a management. Now we will see the different dimensions of management. See, there are different dimensions. That is, the management is a universal phenomena. It is mainly applied both for profit making and also for non-profit making. See, whenever we are telling about the management, it is a universal phenomena. Why it is universal? Not only it is used in enterprise, you may use this management skill in anything. Maybe if you have not done homework, how you are going to manage in a classroom with your teachers. This is also a skill you require in a home, in a working place, with your money, with your resources. So it is a universal phenomena. Everybody has to follow that management skill, but not only for making profit, but for other non-profit making activities also. See, when the business comes, we are mainly concentrating on how much profit you are getting. But management is required for non-profit also. How you are motivating your employees, how you are managing your employees in contributing for the higher production or for the, what we can say, honesty towards their organization. This is what is required, the more important dimension of a management. And management as a system. That means whenever we are telling about a management, it is not only the single unit, it is a whole system we have to manage. All the aspects has to be managed in an organization or an enterprise for the success of an enterprise. Management as a process. Process means it is a continuous activity. See, management, I cannot say that today I have managed, tomorrow I will going to leave. It is not like that. Each and every time it is a continuous process. One has to follow it for the success. Management as a body of knowledge. See, whenever we are telling about a management, we must have a minimum knowledge about it. Without any knowledge, we cannot able to achieve the successful management of an organization. And the next one is management as a status or a position. That is nothing but when you are given a position of a manager, it is like a status. You have to follow all those rituals, all those the working trait has to be followed to be a successful manager. And a management is a science. Yes, it is a science. You have to apply your skill, logic, how it works, and based on that, you have to carry out to the success of an enterprise. And management as an art. So it is an art, it is a creativity, how you are going to manage. See, for example, you can see a smooth manager also, harsh manager also. It is based on their creativity, their skill, the art of managing the people. Now we will see what is the role of a manager or a managerial role as per given by Henry Mitzberg. The major role of a manager is in three types. First one is interpersonal role, informational role, and decision-making role or decisional role. When we are telling about the interpersonal role, it is as a head and how you are going to manage your subordinate. See, as an interpersonal means between the two people. Being a manager, how you are going to manage your subordinates or your co-workers or the laborers in an organization is very, very essential. That means you should figure as a head or you should be recognized as a leader for them. That is the second role is acting as a leader. You must lead your employees towards a goal with a minimum effort and keeping them intact in a unit and get a success with a short period of time. And the next one is liaison. Liaison means you act as a bridge between the labor and the higher management. See, you are a manager giving feedback to your higher authority, and the same way you act as a bridge, convey the message to your co-workers or the subordinates. So being a manager, your role as a head, as a leader, and as a liaison person or as a bridge between your subordinates in an interpersonal role is very, very essential. And the next comes is the informational role. The informational role is monitoring. Monitoring is nothing but as a manager, you are going to receive a lot of information from a different source, maybe from your subordinates, co-workers, from rumors, gossips, everything it will come. So by taking all this information, you should monitor it that it should not have any negative repercussion on the activities of an organization or an enterprise. And the next one is a disseminator. You have to play an important role as a disseminator. Disseminator is nothing but transferring the message from higher authorities to your co-workers. How you are going to give an information on policies, rules and regulations, which is made by a higher authority to your fellow people or your fellow workers or the co-workers. And the next one is as a spokesperson. See, here a disseminator is for your own people, whereas a spokesperson is for the outside. We are giving information to the outside world for the other organization or for the mass media, how you are going to act as a spokesperson to tell about your achievement of an organization or how your organization is performing. And the third role is as a decisional role or a decision-making role. As an entrepreneur, you have to take a decision how to run your enterprise, how you have to succeed in your goal, how you have to achieve the profit of your profit of an enterprise. And the next one is your decision towards a disturbance handler. Disturbance handler means whenever you are running an organization, you will get a lot of disturbances. Maybe the person who won't be working, always creating gossip, always creating problem, may not be regular to the work and always misleading the co-workers. Like that, you will going to get so many disturbances. Maybe raw materials are not coming, marketing problem, advertising problem, so many things, policies, everything will come. How you are going to handle this by effective decision making, that play an important role. And the next one is resource allocator. You have to allocate the resource not only in terms of the raw materials, maybe human resource, our decision making ability, how you are allocating the people to effective running of an organization or effective output of an organization is very, very essential. And the next one is as a negotiator. If any conflict arises in an enterprise or an organization, how you are going to negotiate among that to keep the work go on in a smooth way, achieve the success or goal in a given period of time. Now we will see what are the management skills. See, there are different management skills. The first one is the technical skill. Technical skill means one must have a proficiency in a specific activity to be carried out in an organization or in an enterprise. When I am running an enterprise of cloth bag making, I must have minimum knowledge about how this enterprise will work. You must have understanding and the proficiency, how technically it is working. That is very, very essential being a manager of that. If you don't have any technical knowledge, you cannot guide your subordinates, and subordinate may treat you that you are unknown person, you can be handled anyway, and you can be cheated. And this is most familiar and concrete management skill, very, very essential management skill for a manager. And it is concerned more with the things such as process or physical objects. When we are telling about a technical skill, it is mainly concerned with the physical objects or the process they are carrying out in an organization or an enterprise. And the next skill is interpersonal skill. Interpersonal skill is a key skill of manager, and it is also called as a human skill. Very, very essential. When you are dealing with the people, the enterprise or an organization is nothing but you are dealing with group of people or many persons together working for a common goal. So at that time, interpersonal skill is very essential. That is how he works with the people, how he deals with the people, he or she deals with the people, how he will manage, how the manager help the fellow people or the other people in guiding or mentoring them, motivating them, and communicating very efficiently with the members of the company for effective functioning and to achieve the goal. And the next skill is conceptual skill. Conceptual skill is see the big picture of their organization or an enterprise in a dynamic relationship with the operating environment. That means if an enterprise is running, if the same situation continues, or if environment changes, how my enterprise will be, where it will be, how it is going to perform, what is the amount of it I can expect from my whole unit because of this condition. So this is what you are going to conceptualize what will happen to your enterprise in a whole aspects. And it gives a manager the ability to think in abstract, which allows them to make a broad-based decision. That is nothing but if you conceptualize what will happen in that situation, this helps you to take a proper decision to move the enterprise or an organization in an efficient way and take up your enterprise from a difficulties. And the next one is diagnostic skill. Diagnostic skill means you are visualizing what will going to happen in future with a specific situation. For example, if I'm relying on some person for the raw material, if that person stops providing the raw material to me, what will happen to my enterprise? If the raw material is not coming to me in a proper quantity, in a proper way, in a proper time, what will happen? And how that has to be solved. If you're having a diagnostic skill, which is very useful for solving the problems that may arise during your enterprise. And if you could able to solve the problem, you can sustain your enterprise, or you can give a solution to your enterprise to have a sustainable production or sustainable profitability. And apart from this, some of the important managerial or the management skills are communication skill. That is how you are dealing or communicating with your higher ups and your subordinates. Decision making skill is in time based on the situation with the available resources, how you are going to decide for the success of an enterprise or to carry the enterprise in a successful way. Delegation skill means how you are going to delegate the work to your fellow people, subordinates, get the work in a given time. And management skill, how you are managing the time to get the work done and come out with the product, and how you are approaching the market in a time, and how everything in time. And self-management skill. Along with that, you have to manage yourself, how you are conducting, how you are talking, how you are perceiving, how you are presenting yourself in front of your subordinates is also play an important role. As a manager, one must have that skill. So now we will see some of the business environment. When we see the Indian economy, the major business environment, we can be able to see that it is a business is an organized effort of an enterprise to supply the consumer the goods and services which is very profitable to them. See, whenever we are telling about an enterprise or I am coming out with some business, my main intention is to give a service to the customer, and that service must return me good profit. In a present day, understanding the business environment is a complex phenomena because it is related with both production and distribution. Because whenever we are telling about the business environment, not only in terms of production, it is very essential how I am going to market my produce and how I am going to get a profit. And this business environment in the Indian economy is very essential to understand, because it is a need to have a safety society needs. That means whenever I am coming out with any new business or enterprise, I used to concentrate on the needs of a society which is very safe. And this, if by fulfilling these needs, it helps me to get a profit out of my business. What are the nature of a modern business? The first thing is large size of a business. When we see the modern society, everybody wants to have a big size of a business, means they used to come out with a large business venture rather than a small companies or an enterprise. So it is very natural in a developing world when compared to the developed world. We could not able to go to the international level because of our small size of an enterprise. Next one is oligopolistic nature. Oligopoly is nothing but it is a small number of firms seeking a homogeneous or a differential product. That does not mean that, see, all the firm will not come out with the same product. Only few firms will be there with the specific type of a product. What we can say that when we go to a market, we could see the diversified product. So you can see the toothpaste. In the toothpaste also, you could able to come out with the different categories of toothpaste. Gum protector, sensation protector, neem-based, lemon-based, clove-based, for the young age people, old age people, middle age people, like that. They have come out with the different categories. Our diversified product is the need of an hour in a present market, which is very essential to understand in the business environment, is the nature of modern business. And the next one is diversification. Diversification means you always have to have a diversified product to come out in a market, or to place yourself in a market, always must have a different product. Maybe in terms of soap, maybe in terms of cream, maybe in terms of many things, maybe biscuit you take, whatever you take, it is having the same thing but diversified. Biscuit only, but diversified taste, diversified structure, appearance, quality, everything changes. And the next one is global presence. That is extending the business to the international level is very essential in the present context. And technology orientation. Always, whenever you are running an enterprise or a business, you must satisfy the changing needs of large number of consumers. See, the need of a consumer changes over a period of time, and we must adapt to this change by adapting ourselves to the new technology which has to be introduced in a market. For example, still we used to tell that I will go for the hand weaving rather than the machine weaving. That may not suffice your requirement in a business, because you cannot compete with the machine weaving, where whatever may be the quality or the duration, now the machine has come out, technology has come where you can compete in the international market with large production with a quality produce. And the next, the business environment one must understand is, second one is government regulation. That is, government is attempting to create a stable market condition by coming out with so many monetary and physical regulation. This is just to reduce the monopoly. They want to have a balance in the market. They have come out with lot of policies and the regulation. And the next one is business environment. The business environment refers to the external factors which may have direct and indirect impact or the influence on your business. That may be market, consumers' requirement, need, your competitor, everything will come. Your everything, and the raw materials available, location, the brand name, quality, packing, everything, grading, everything will going to influence on your business. This business environment is also very essential to understand to run your business. Now we will see what are the characteristics of future Indian economy. See, usually if you see the future economy, India is having a low per capita income, that is $7,680. It is a data of 2018. Now we might have been increased by 2020. And there is an unequal distribution of income and poverty, that we have seen that income is not equally distributed among the people. The unequal distribution, and we could able to see the poverty. People below poverty line are more. And our business, our economy is entirely depends on agriculture. That is 16.5 gross value is from the agriculture only, which is always gambling with the monsoon. We are not assured of the same level of GDP contribution. And we are having higher population. That leads to unemployment, large number of unemployment. And this unemployment and higher population leads to scarcity of capital. When there is a scarcity of capital, less investment for the enterprise or a business. And technological background, we are still in a traditional method rather than the modern method. And usually we are having very limited entrepreneurial potentiality in Indian economy. So to run a business in all these Indian economical situation, one must have a better business leadership skill. So when we are telling business leadership skill, it is nothing but a business leader should be a confident enough, and he should be persistent and inventive in a business. Always he must have that innovativeness, confident, and always persist in doing the things. And he or she can launch a new business and will invest all their energy to establish it. That means when we are telling a business leader, they can start a business and also will put their 100% to establish their business. And they have a talent to inspire the people. This is what the important characteristics of the business leader. So what are the skills of a business leader? Important skills of a business leader. Always a business leader must lead by an example. That is nothing but he must be an idol for others. He should make himself an example for others. He should be passionate about his work rather than he is always compulsion or should not be there. He must be well organized, should not be haphazard. Everything is logically organized, well planned, organized, and he has to execute the work. Always have a power of delegating the things to his subordinates or the co-workers. And he has to take the ownership and the responsibility of carrying out his business or the enterprise, being a business leader. And he must have an efficient and effective communication skill. Always be brave and honest enough in doing the work. Always be brave means confident enough, do work, and always have a target oriented such that I can able to succeed in my work. And he should be a great listener. He must be a great listener, then only he can able to get the problem, give a solution for all those problems he may come across during his running an enterprise. And he must know his people, who are his workers, higher ups, customers, who are the market competitors. He must know everybody. And he should act as a follower. Don't think that I am a leader, everybody has to follow. Sometimes you should act as a follower. Must take a decision in a right time, in a right direction with the available facilities. And he must know about his drawbacks and the strong and weak points. Based on that, he has to carry out his work. And always must have a strategic vision for success of an enterprise. And very essential thing is in an enterprise development, motivation is very, very essential. Motivation is nothing but it is an inner drive or motives which will drive to achieve the goal of an organization. What are the characteristics of a motivation? See, motivation is always an internal feeling of a person. It cannot be shown outside, but it cannot be visible. It is there an internal feeling. And motivation is a continuous process. Each and every stage, we must motivate the people to carry out the work or to reach the goal. It varies from person to person. It is not same for all the person. It varies from one to one. And also the motivation varies from time also. For example, if a person is very hungry, cannot stop his hunger, he may be motivated to earn something to fill his stomach. Same way, if a person is okay, manageable, and he knows how to run the people and how to lie and get, it will be different. So the motivation varies from time, varies from person to person. And many times motivation may be positive or negative. This is common. The motivation may be in a positive direction, maybe in a negative direction. For example, sometimes if you succeed, you will get motivated to do the positive things very effectively. If you failed and you are cursed by others and demotivated by others, you will be always moving towards negative rather than the positive. What makes an entrepreneur? The entrepreneurship is associated with your personality. What are the things which is influencing on developing an entrepreneur or motivating the people to become an entrepreneur? First thing is your personality. The personality development is closely associated with your childhood experience or the environment in which you have been born and brought up, or you have been tuned. That is going to influence on becoming an entrepreneur. Usually we used to say that Marwadis or the Gujaratis, they are the good entrepreneur because that has come in their blood only, because that is how they are tuned or shaped during their childhood. And next one is the economic deprivation also act as a motivating factor. For example, I'm not having anything, I have to earn bread for my family. For me, you will get motivated to start something which will give you a regular income for you. And the entrepreneurial characteristics are results of combination of various social, economic, and psychological factors which are developed from your childhood. See, when we are telling about the entrepreneur, the motivation becoming the entrepreneur will going to have impact from their childhood, and it may be a result of many characteristics, maybe social, economic, and psychological. See, it does not mean that a businessman's son will become a good businessman or a good teacher's son will become a good teacher. It is not so. Based on your exposure in your childhood, your social, economic, and psychological factors will influence you to become excel in a particular field other than your other factors. Now we will see some of the motivational theory. When we are telling about the motivational theory, the great and universally accepted theory is given by Maslow's need of hierarchy. Based on your need, the people will get motivated to achieve something. Basic need for a person is a physiological need, that is with respect to food, water, all those things. The men will work hard to earn something to fulfill this. Once it is fulfilled, next he moves to the safety need, the security. Once that is fulfilled, he'll get motivated to achieve the belongingness or the love need, that is intimate relationship, friendship, everything. Then esteem needs and self-actualization. Like that, the need will motivate you to achieve something. See, based on your need, your requirement, social factor, economical factor, and psychological needs will going to motivate you to achieve something and become a good entrepreneur in your life. Important guidelines for motivation, how you can motivate the people. The first thing is one must consider human resource as one of the most valuable resource, and you must give a respect and honor to treat those people. See, when I'm working in an organization, I should treat my fellow farmers as a respectfully and as my friend, and I should use them as a major resource of mine. So if you won't do and you're always delegating and ordering, you treat them as slaves, they won't accept it and they won't work for the success of an organization. And the next is good quality working conditions should be maintained. See, how we can motivate means one must have a good environment to work. If you maintain a quality condition where you can work very efficiently and effectively, that will motivate you to do very efficient work. And always, when you want to motivate, always concentrate or give priority for health and safety of your fellow workers or the human resource. See, that's why whenever you see a corporate sector, they used to provide the health insurance, or they used to have their own dispensary to take care of their fellow people, and providing some incentives, bonus, and scholarship for their children, everything that will give them a health and safety needs. And always you have to give a fair salary for the work they are doing, such that they could maintain minimum standard of their living. See, if the salary is good, then only they can sustain the people or the skilled people in their organization. Otherwise, they will leave and go for other organization. And job security is very, very essential. If you give a job security, which gives an opportunity, and also along with that, you give an opportunity to come up in their career, give promotion, recognition, bonus, and you give a permanency of their job, will be very honest and motivated to work towards an organization. And the next one is always the superior should prize their subordinate when they're going to do some good work or when they deserve. This will act as an external motivating factor that will encourage them to do that again and again and good activities again. And always, when the time comes, when the technology improves, provide them adequate equipments and tools so that they can perform very efficiently. Don't go with some old manual technique, as you have to go with the changing technologies. And always give proper feedback to know about their strength and weakness. Always talk with them. Get the feedback from your fellow people to know about their strength, weakness, and whatever the things could be done to make them very efficient. And always you give opportunity for your fellow people or the co-worker work according to their creativity, use their skills, such that they can able to do the work in more efficient way rather than what we have told. This encourages them to participate, implementing and management of the objectives and latest concept in the management of an organization. And the next one is you always use a principle of natural justice in handling the grievances, or when there is a problem or the people go for strike and all, always respect the need of a people and always handle this with the justice and give a freedom for your fellow people to express their problem. And time to time you build the capacity building is very essential. Your worker has to have a proper capacity building program or impart a skill and training for them that such that they can work very efficiently and skillfully and creatively. This is what when we want to tell about an enterprise, a manager must have all those things in him to manage the things, manage the people, manage the resources, and create a business environment in which he should act as a business leader, and he should be skillful enough to motivate his employees, do the work in available resources, and get a more output from a minimum input with the efficient contribution of their skill, creativity, work. This is how an enterprise or a business can become a success and sustain in the market for a long duration. Thank you so much. I hope you have got the point what I want to tell with respect to managerial skill and the business leadership skill. Thank you so much.